everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to the Best of Publishers, where I take a look at different board game publishers, talk about them a little bit, and give my 10 favorite games. Today we're going to talk about Renegade Games. Now, Renegade Game Studios, it almost feels a little too new to be doing this list. I mean, I was able to get 10 games for Renegade Games, but I feel like if I did this list 2 or 3 years from now, there's going to be so many more games on the list for them. Renegade Games was started by Scott Gata, joined by Sarek Erickson a little bit later on. He started it in 2014, so it's not that old of a company. He left Cryptozoic, was working with Cryptozoic Entertainment, and left and took some of the games from Cryptozoic with him, the non-licensed games. Renegade Games has since become a pretty well-known industry name. They make extremely high-quality games. Even if I don't like their games, I have to admit that they have a very specific target market. They're very popular. They kind of fit that middle ground. Like they're not necessarily just intro games to the hobby or gateway games, although they make those, but they're games that fit that medium weight. And I think most people like to play that type of game. So it's good to see these quality games come out. Interestingly enough, probably their most famous game, Lanterns, is one that I still have not played for whatever reason or not. And also I suspect that I would like Lotus, but I haven't played that one either. So here's my 10 favorite games from Renegade. Number 10 is Bullfrogs. Bullfrogs is a game in which you are moving frogs around in a pond, trying to control different regions. It's mostly an abstract strategy game, but one that I enjoy. Number 9 is Double Feature. This is a game that came from Cryptozoic. This is a movie guessing game. It's a simple party game. You turn over 2 different things, a category and something else, and you find a movie that fits those 2 different categories. If you like movie trivia, if you like trying to think of different movies that feature different people and or things in them, you would get a kick out of this one. Number 8 is Covert. Now, I know that Z and Dan King really like Covert. I'm not as high on it as they are. I still think it's a very good quality game about being spies and going through, picking up information other people have, accomplishing missions. There's a very intriguing dice placement system. It's neat, again, just stellar production. That's Covert. Number 7 is Snowtails. Now, Snowtails was originally designed and published by the Fragor brothers, by Gordon and Lamont Fragor, and the Lamont brothers from Fragor Games, from Fraser and Gordon Lamont. They took the first 3 letters of their names, put them together. Anyhow, this Snowtails was probably their most popular game that they made. Mayfair initially picked it up, and then they came out with Snowtails 2. Well, Renegade kind of goes back to the original Snowtails, streamlined it, made a nice, good production of it. This is a racing game where you are doing a dog sled around corners, and you're trying to make one dog run maybe a little bit faster than the other so that you curve a bit, but you don't want it to go too bad. It's a simple, easy racing game with a unique theme. There's not many dog racing sled games. Is there any other ones? Anyway, number 6 is Gravwell. I mentioned this on the list I did for Cryptozoic, but I got to mention it again. This is a great racing game in which players are bouncing away from the gravity of whatever's closest to them. You're trying to get away from this black hole, trying to get out of this alternate dimension, but you are also ricocheting off the gravity of the other ships, which can be very intriguing, and that will change as the ships move. I like it. Number 5 is Brick Party. This is a party game that essentially uses Legos. We'll call them bricks so we don't get sued. And in this game, you are telling someone else how to build a little Lego figure. You're like, okay, take a 2x4 brick, blue brick, put a green one on top, etc., etc. Except there's something, like maybe the person can only use one hand. Maybe they have to be blindfolded while they build it or whatever. Really funny game. Really got a big kick out of this one. If you like watching people give each other bad directions, you'll like this one. Number 4, Blood of an Englishman. This is a 2-player game in which one person is playing Jack and the other person is playing the giant whose beanstalk Jack has climbed. It is kind of an abstract game to some degree, but it's asymmetrical, and you put out the cards. The card setup is random, and after that, the game plays just no hidden, nothing. You're just going to move cards around until one person wins. Very unique, great artwork, a cool little production. That is Blood of an Englishman. Number 3 is Fuse. I have a thing that I enjoy, real-time cooperative games. Fuse is one of those. You're rolling dice as quickly as you can, trying to defuse multiple bombs. You are doing this, working together. I need this with this. It's a 10-minute game, literally, that time frame. And it's fun, it's simple, it's easy, it's cooperative. All those just ticks off a lot of categories for me. Number 2 is World's Fair 1893. World Fair 1893 is a very simple game, and that's, again, as many of the games from Renegade are simple, where you're moving around this Ferris wheel, picking up cards. Yeah. The Ferris wheel is a score track, but you're going to be grabbing cards from different locations. And when you grab the cards, some of the cards will give you different special abilities. Other cards you're collecting for sets to score points at the end of the game. You have to decide which group to grab cards from, and then the cards are constantly being refilled. Really good game, simple, easy. It's a great gateway style game, and it does take a nice theme too. It has a really good look to it. And finally, my favorite game from Renegade Games, easily my number 1, is Clank. Clank just came out. It is a deck building game. There's a lot of deck building games out there, but Clank adds something to it. You're not just building a deck in this game, you're using that deck to move through a dungeon. And so you're moving around through the dungeon, trying to collect treasure, trying to go and get artifacts to get out of the dungeon as quickly as you possibly can. And so you're in, get out. There's a little bit of push your luck. There's all kinds of great thematic cards and different things. There's 2 different maps in the box. Really excited about this one. Just played it last week. Had a great time doing so. Look forward to playing it again. Renegade Games. Now, this top 10 list feels incomplete to me. I mean that because I really feel like when I do this in 2020 or whatever, that I will have 10 more great games. When Renegade announces a game, I'm interested. I really feel like they're going to be doing great things in the future. They really are just on fire, and I'm excited about this company. But as it is, their slate for starting in 2014, they have a great slate of games. Tell me what your favorites are in the comments. Keep watching. I'll be doing more of these every week. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and this has been Best of Publishers, specifically Renegade Games.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.